Anxiety is the most common of all mental health issues, and it's been steadily increasing since the 1950s. We all experience anxiety from time to time. When it reaches a more extreme level, it becomes known as panic. And when panic persists, this is typically referred to as a panic attack. If you've ever had one, I don't need to tell you how unpleasant they are. Today, I'm going to walk through 5 steps that can help you catch the signs relatively quickly and then work your way through discomfort as soon as possible. So for our first step, it's important to identify what thoughts, feelings, or situations are most likely to contribute to a panic attack. This is likely different for everyone, but like most things in life, it tends to be clues and patterns. So for instance, whenever you focus on something that creates fear, such as struggles with finances, concern about yourself or a loved one, fear of the unknown, and so on, you may notice that symptoms start to come on. So if you've been having panic attacks, a good place to start is to just simply think back to see if there are any patterns to watch for that could be making your anxiety worse. And if you don't notice any particular rhyme or reason for the attacks, that's fine. We still have a plan to manage them. Second, knowing what physical and psychological symptoms to watch out for is very important. According to research, the most common physical symptoms of a panic attack are an increase in heart rate, shortness of breath, tightness in the chest, upset stomach, sweating, shaking, hot flashes, numbness, and feeling dizzy. So it's quite a laundry list of physical symptoms that can occur with relative frequency. And for the mental signs of a panic attack, the most common symptoms are feelings of panic and uneasiness, feelings of dread, fear of dying, a sense of not being connected to reality, and a fear of losing control mentally. And as you're probably aware, you don't need to experience all of these physical and psychological symptoms I just listed in order to have a panic attack. For most people, 1 or 2 strong telltale symptoms usually come on initially and let you know that you're in the early stages of having a panic attack. According to a 2011 study by Dr. Alicia Muret and colleagues, the 2 most common symptoms to watch out for are an increase in heart rate and shortness of breath, but your telltale signs could be different. But the point of picking up these symptoms quickly is to minimize the severity of the panic attack. For the third step, the goal is to begin calming the body. The best way to do this is to change how you breathe. When people become anxious, it's common to take short, choppy breaths from high in the chest. And instead of doing this, you want to take slow, deep breaths from the diaphragm or the stomach. And there's all kinds of different breathing schedules you could use, but the main goal is just simply to take slower, deeper breaths. And if you're by yourself, I encourage you to just simply breathe in for 2 or 3 seconds, hold your breath for 2 or 3 seconds, and exhale for 2 or 3 seconds, with the goal of repeating this 10 times before returning to breathing normally. Now, if you're having a panic attack in public, it could feel awkward to slow your breathing this way, so I encourage you just to focus on trying to breathe a little slower and deeper than you normally would. And when deep breathing is done well, it can help to lower your heart rate and your blood pressure, both of which become elevated during a panic attack. And as your heart rate and your blood pressure begin to drop, it'll help to relieve some of the physical symptoms you're experiencing that occur during a panic attack. For the next step, the goal is to begin calming the mind. What you say to yourself at this stage is critical, as it'll influence whether the panic attack is going to get better or worse. So for example, your self-talk at this stage, if it's something like, "Oh my God, I can't stand this. I'm sure this is a heart attack." Not surprisingly, your panic attack's probably going to get worse. Instead, some people have calming phrases to use. And it's usually best to try to figure these out ahead of time, as it's likely going to be difficult to come up with calming phrases right when you're in the middle of a panic attack. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples here, but ultimately you're going to come up with the phrases that are just most comfortable for you to use. So a few sample phrases could be, "I can handle this. I've done it before." Or, "These feelings will go away soon." Or, "It's just a wave. What goes up must come down." And essentially, that's what you're trying to do here. The goal is to ride the wave of anxiety as ultimately rise to a peak and eventually fall. For most panic attacks, the worst is usually over within 10 to 20 minutes. For more severe panic attacks, they can last a little longer, but they always come to an end. For our fifth step, I encourage people to get moving whenever possible. When the brain feels panicked, it releases hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline that you want to decrease as soon as possible. And in case you're wondering, adrenaline is the hormone that's responsible for giving you many of the uncomfortable symptoms that tend to occur during a panic attack. And if you can get moving for at least 10 to 15 minutes once symptoms of panic kick in, it can help to create a greater sense of calm by utilizing the adrenaline. Because ultimately the brain's goal is to provide an influx of it so you can run or stay in fight. And when that doesn't happen, there's a whole host of adrenaline that's floating around in the system that isn't getting used up. So if you remain sedentary, it's going to feel uncomfortable for a while until eventually the adrenaline works its way through your system. So having said all of that, if you're able to get moving, the more intense and demanding the movement is, the better, especially if you're experiencing strong symptoms of anxiety. So I encourage you to give these 5 steps a try if you experience panic attacks. If you need help implementing these steps, please contact us at Sullivan Associates Clinical Psychology. And if you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.